Oh, Christmas tree, what is Scar doing? He put this thing up on a roof. He said, hey, hermits, there is proof. Despite the lag, which is my bad, there's plenty of gifts for you. And so I say, howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. Scar apparently left presents under this here particularly pleasant tauntum bomb. And so I'm not sure which one is for me. Are these, like, named? Do they all have diamonds in them? They might all have diamonds in them. Well, maybe we're going to take some of these diamonds and cover them in lava later, which is different from regifting because it's, you know, disrespectful. Although regifting is kind of disrespectful too. Given the choice, maybe we will just temporarily make one of these presents slightly better than all the others and take what is left here. And we will leave a nice little note that says, thanks, Scar. Merry Christmas. Bono doesn't fit, so we'll just say you two. Okay, so there we go. We now have a chest with everything except for the diamonds there. You know, what is even in this? Gilded blackstone? Smooth quartz block? Ooh, smooth quartz block would have come in handy on a recent build, but you know what? I'm sure we will find something to do with it in the future. And those golden apples, they can never steer you wrong. I forgot to sign my name. It's fine. Nobody else likes talking about weird Cold War planes as much as me, so he'll know. He'll know that one's from me. Anyway, we're going to get out of this Lag City district here and back to the tranquil pond betwixt my base and that of B00100, where we can just enjoy our builds the way nature intended. B-Dubs and I share a border between our two bases, and as of yet, we haven't seen the need to have any sort of real gates established, but with New Year's Eve just around the corner, I started looking at where do people celebrate New Year's, because we're going to be celebrating it on a live stream here on the Hermitcraft server, and so I thought, like, well, where would people be, celebrating? And one of them was in Berlin, the Brandenberg Gate, which is about 11 meters deep. That doesn't sound too bad. It's got some pillars, 15 meters tall, about 2 meters in diameter. Hey, we can do that in Minecraft. Oh yeah, it's 65 meters wide. So the only place to do something 65 meters wide that I really have a good, nice flat area for is going to be basically on the edge of this pond right here. We're going to put our Brandenburg Gate. Now, you might say, Joe, that seems like it might be in B-Dubs' way a little bit. But you know what? Like, right now, he doesn't... we'll still have some of these trees. If he doesn't like it, he can obscure it or obfuscate it. I actually did send him a message asking along with the coordinates. He says, I don't have time to look at those coordinates yet, but I'm sure it'll be great wherever it is. Not his exact words, because how could I twist them if I didn't repeat them poorly? So, basically, we're going to just set that Brandenburg Gate here along the edge of this pool and set up some fireworks dispensers too so we can use them in our New Year's stream. Now, I'm kind of thinking I'm going to use sandstone for that because that looks the most like what I've seen of photos of this. I've never been to Berlin myself, although I would love to do so at some point once it is safe to travel again. But, that's part of why we're doing this. We want to dare to dream of a better future and a better year. So, time skip. Well, folks, that is what 6 15-meter tall, 11-meter deep, and 2-meter wide columns look like, arranged to be about 65 meters end to end. There's only so much you can do with this. The columns themselves, I couldn't get them truly rounded because this is Minecraft. But, so basically the way this works is these columns are each pillar, wall, pillar. It's not optimal, but this thing is meant to really be viewed from a distance anyway, like from over here in B-Dubs' houses, and from back where B-Dubs, hangs out on roofs and stuff. Like, that'll be fine. That won't be a real problem. So what we do need to do, though, is this needs another 5 meters of roof on it. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to make the parts of that hollow that I can to save materials, because this has already been 2 trips to the desert. Luckily, the one thing about the mining desert that I can do quickly is I can just mine the sandstone directly. I don't have to dig up sand with a shovel. And a bunch of hermits already exposed a bunch of sandstone. So that is some small blessing. But you know what? We got to get this going if we want to have it ready for New Year's Eve. So let's go ahead and start throwing some smooth sandstone onto the roof. Time skip. Well, folks, as you can see, we've started doing the roof work here. And I, really wanted to make sure that this is going to look good from B-Dubs' area. So we've got this nice little bridge I've just been using while I check in on things. It's a little bit occluded, but on the whole, you can kind of see that the roof line there is going to look decent. One thing I realized while I was doing the roof numbers and doing some detail work on these walls inside the columns, these walls are just kind of placeholders, really. There's actually a lot of detail that I need to add. I need to replace a lot of these blocks. But when I started doing the math on it, I was like, okay, so I need to have these 2 hollows in these walls, but there should only be 1 meter space between them. For some reason, there's an even number of blocks here. How did I end up with an even number of blocks here? So then I got 11 torches out to measure the 11 meters of depth of the build, and I realized the entire thing is just 1 block out too far. So what we actually need to do is rip out the pillars, or at least rip out the last layer of the pillars here. Rip out the last or outer layer of this roof here, and start over. And that's okay. That's why we're doing this in Minecraft instead of with actual sandstone, because you measure actual sandstone wrong, and it's a lot more of a process. But you know what? This is a video game, and we are here to have fun and to, enjoy ourselves. So we're just going to chalk this up as a ha-ha. Sometimes Joe Hills does silly things on or off camera, like counting to 12 instead of to 11. That's fine. You know what I should have done? And this is how, RAM used to work back when everybody had, what do you call that? The good RAM that's got the parity checking. You would check to see if you expected an odd or an even number. Did you get an odd or an even number? It would have been super simple for me to just walk down this line here earlier and just be like, where's the midline of it? And the funny thing is, I thought I had done that, but I wasn't being particularly clever about it, and I missed it. So little mistakes like this, easy enough to fix, but, yeah. Sorry, ECC RAM is what I was trying to think of. But, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're just going to chew through this with our fancy pick. It's sandstone. It won't take long. And then we will start to working on getting our roof detail in and our wall details. Time skip. Well, folks, I started working on the roof here, and I was comparing some images to the original layout. And let me tell you, I've realized we may have made some dimensional mistakes, okay? I started looking at, the slope on, how this set of steps is going to go, and I'm like, this is just too stretched out. And this middle rectangle is too wide. What's going on here? It turns out the thing about this whole gate being 65 meters wide is not just the center part of the gate, which is the part we're building, but also the 2 side buildings add to it to create a width. Dang it, why can't I get out of here? So 2 side buildings we were not going to build contribute to the total width of 65 meters. That means these pillars, which we just did all this painstaking detail work on, are going to be too far apart. Now, here's some good news on the math. Between the main pillars, it's 6 meters wide. So that means we need to put a new pillar set here, like a wall right here where these 2 torches are. Then it's 4 meters to the next wall. So that means we can keep both this wall and this wall. Then we come 4 meters, need a new wall in here, and to rip out all that. Down the line here, similar deal, However, it looks like with this one, I'm only going to have to replace one part of this wall, although I will have to put in a completely new one there. So, Luckily, this is sandstone, so we should be able to chew through it relatively quickly. Here we go. Time skip. Well, folks, as you can see, I've got a nice little plaza here. I've got a nice little roof on top. We don't have the 4 horses from the quadriga yet. I'm thinking once B-Dubs gets back, we're going to ask him to help us breed some horses to make this gate feel real neighborly. You know what? So we're going to leave that quadriga unfinished for the moment. Now, one thing I did start working on was a fireworks shooting array back here. And I was thinking, like, oh, it'd be real cool if I could, like, stand over here somewhere on New Year's Eve and then shoot a target like that one there and see the fireworks go off. Dang it, that was close, but not, like, exactly it. Well, okay, they're hard to see because they're behind the columns, and it's daytime. But some of them actually did go off. What I'm realizing, though, is having these fireworks back here behind the gate means that they're spending all of their gunpowder just trying to get up past the columns, which isn't ideal. What would be probably more visually interesting would be to install the fireworks launchers on the roof here behind the whole thing. Or possibly, like, embed them kind of like... So basically, if I remove this layer of the roof and put in the fireworks launchers here, I would have, like, some sort of target or something that I could remotely trigger to activate it. Or, run a button with redstone signal up. The problem is there's nowhere good to conceal running redstone signal up through here, since these pillars are all so narrow. But, core concept, if we had the fireworks start off emerging from the roof, maybe I have some sort of timing mechanism where I activate the timer and then I fly back here to witness it. I don't know. We're going to have to come back to that. But this is only the first of 6 different New Year's Eve fireworks launchers that we need to build. So, this one's not going to be done this episode anyway, since we need to wait for B-Dubs to get back from his vacation to help us with that quadriga with the 4 horses on the roof. Why don't we go ahead and show off what I'm working on for each of the remaining 5 time zones. Time skip. Our Brandenberg Gate is ready for New Year's Eve, but that's just for the EU time zone. We also have builds that I have been preparing off camera for the other 5 time zones that I can't wait to share midnight with you all from. Like over here, for the United Kingdom at midnight, we've got our Big Ben we're going to shoot off fireworks behind. Then, for the American East Coast, all the way across the sea here, I'm going to take a little bit of a break while there are midnights, over the ocean. But then when we get to the American East Coast, on top of the Times Square building, we can shoot off fireworks from beyond this giant glass ball of light. I don't know why they do it. That's just their thing there. But, so New York can have their thing. Then we'll celebrate Nashville style, shooting some fireworks off over this recreation of the Cumberland River. As you can see, it's proportionally accurate here. So that's going to be really fun. For the mountain time folks, everybody loves that Colorado New Year's style. And what they do in Colorado? They shoot off fireworks from Pikes Peak. So I have the perfect place picked out to celebrate mountain time New Year's here. And then lastly, for all the folks on the Pacific West Coast of the United States, we are going to shoot off one final set of fireworks. If I don't fall asleep beforehand, we'll shoot off one final set of fireworks during the stream right here on my loving one-to-one recreation of Santa Monica Pier. I think that's going to be a real treat for a lot of folks since they can't get out there in person this year to be able to experience that, So, like I said, sorry I only had time to show the construction for the EU build today, but all 6 time zones are going to feel that love on this stream. So, I hope that some of y'all who don't have any other plans this year will be able to join me there. In the meantime, I wanted to say thank you to Alex for making this episode mid-roll ad-free. In lieu of that mid-roll ad, I will now read a poem of my own devising, which I call City of Brotherly Love. In my heart, I was glad, but the city prays at night, so I was walking angry, looking angry, seeming mean past Ben Franklin's darkened grave, past his mint, too, toward my hotel, when across the street I saw a bus shelter sheltering someone, heaped defensively under dirty blankets, sleeping buried, trying to stay warm. I couldn't see anything about the stranger, except that they, too, didn't want to be disturbed. And that they weren't a bus. We have bus shelters on every other corner. Maybe we need more people shelters, too. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.